where we internalize our well-being and say, how do we become better? Operating from scarcity isn't just a mindset. Sometimes it just shows up in little things that we do every day. But look, we're being sensitive here. Scarcity is a real thing on the African continent. So is this even a real thing when we have so many challenges in Africa? Okay. Let's look at this. There are habits that we can actually form, though, like ones that we're afraid to spend because you're just like, yo, am I going to make more money? Reusing items far past their usefulness. I know I have a tendency of making sure that that Colgate tube is used. I even get my scissor and I cut it and I open it.
I hear
make sure that is done.
Isn't that just being financially savvy?
How do we break these cycles? How do we detox scarcity and start making choices from a place of more than enough? Life is more than enough, actually. There's so much that God has blessed us with that we can actually take hold of. But hey, let's speak to Gaugelo Potwane. Hey, Gaugelo. Wankaza, man. Wait again. You've joined the club. Yabona Oro, you've upgraded here. Multi-award winning high performance coach. Welcome to the multi-awarding team. I get the multi-award winners. How are you, Gaugelo?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Super good. Doing good. All right, let's navigate and contextualize it because it's so easy to say scarcity mentality. It sounds like a very middle-class thing to say, right? Because we have so many challenges on the continent. But could you help us navigate this topic in light of the challenges that we face every day when it comes to just the economic gaps that we're seeing in many people's lives in Africa?
So I don't want to take away from the fact that we do live in a continent where, like what you said, we have scarcity, right? It's everywhere around us. We see it with, the unemployment rates. We see it with, inflation rates and. But I wanted to just shine light on the fact that mindset is perspective, right? And your mindset belongs to you. So when you're speaking about mindset, we're not saying it from a general continental perspective. We're talking about an individual mindset. And the scarcity mindset is basically believing that the resources that you have or are exposed to or the opportunities that are around you are limited, right? For example, time, money, love, work, or whatever it is. And this creates fear or like a not enough mentality. And that's when a lot of people hoard, they feel anxious all the time, they focus on what they lack. And, this leads to poor decision making and you miss quite a lot of opportunities because you are really focused on what you don't have as opposed to what you do have. Or what you can have.
Yeah. Gaugelo, I think we like to put this conversation of a scarcity mindset and think that it's only for people who do have a lot of scarcity. So maybe scarcity mindset is for people who don't have enough money, who don't work and this and that. But because it's a mindset, how does this also go to people who might actually have enough? For people who think, might have a little bit more than others, but they can still have a scarcity mindset. Can they?
Yes, they can. So a scarcity mindset isn't just based on materialistic value, right? Or materialistic exposure. A scarcity mindset can also be a mindset of there isn't enough love to go around. So that's when you don't want your friends to have other things, or you stay in a toxic relationship, or you start thinking this is the best I can do. So I think anyone that has this fear of not enough and they start really, when you have something in the palm of your hands, but you grip on it so tightly because you don't want to let it go, because you're thinking this is the only thing that I have and I might not have it again. That is based on fear. So anyone really, like the middle class, people that have a lot of money, people that are, under, the poverty line, anyone can have a scarcity mindset. So I want to just move away from it being materialistic, or it being something or about something that is tangible. It is even things like, I'm not smart enough. That's a scarcity mindset. Or as soon as you start saying things like, I cannot, or so that's a scarcity mindset, believing that there just is not enough of anything.
But also, I think you're right, because we can be so defined by external situations or our bank account and forget that there's like a wellspring of infinity, right? I don't want to sound like I'm a Matrix character, but like, we are blessed with so many things, and at times that mindset of scarcity makes us forget our true value that is beyond these things that we acquire, or even the unpredictability of life.
And like what you're saying now, that we, there's a lot of focus that goes on what we do have materialistically, right? But think about this, right? What is abundance? Abundance is an overflow of anything, right? There are people that are rich in terms of money, but very poor in terms of love and in terms of community and. So I think when we're thinking about the opposite of scarcity, which is abundance, that's literally just having enough or more than enough of anything. So it's just about perspective and focus. And I think also what people tend to, forget is just because of where you are, that doesn't determine where you're going, right? And it goes back to that saying of, as a man thinketh, so he is. I think that's the saying. So your mindset, your perspective really determines, where to from here. That's why you get people that started off in the rural areas, very poor. Now they're like multimillionaires because of the mindset that they have. If someone can do it, so can I. If someone can have it, so can I, because there's enough to go around.
I love that, and I love this conversation. Let's take a break, Kgaugelo, and we can come back, and we need to find out how to fight. How do we arm ourselves to fight against the scarcity mindset, and how can we start thinking from a place of abundance even when we can't see that abundance in front of us? We'll continue speaking to the multi-award winning high-performance coach, Kgaugelo Phutwane, after the break.
The whole population of Africa has been shocked to the depth of its soul.
For 60 years, Channel Africa has been the voice that connects the continent, telling our stories and sharing our vision with the world. This year, we mark 6 decades of broadcast excellence.
60 years of stories, sound, and connection.
6 years of African conversations that matter.
This is 60 years of broadcast excellence.
Rooted in Africa's heartbeat and looking boldly into the future. Join Channel Africa as we celebrate 60 years of broadcasting. Still strong, still vibrant, and still giving you the African perspective.
Channel Africa.
9 to 12 midday, Central African Time.
On the Move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushatama.
Oh, Khwatswana, it's never going to be enough. Oh, why do I try anyway? Because I never go anywhere. Oh no, I can't spend this last 5 rand or $10 because where am I going to get more? That's the mindset that we're tackling today, the scarcity mindset. And we're finding out practical ways to shift into a mindset of abundance with Kgaugelo Phutwane, who is joining us today. Kgaugelo is a multi-award winning high performance coach. Kgaugelo, we say these things without thinking, and we don't understand just how much our subconscious plays a role in what happens in our actual lives. That's the scarcity mindset. But now help us put our boxing gloves on, put on our armor. How are we fighting against the scarcity mindset?
So what I love telling people or my clients is you need to become your mindset and your reality will follow. Right? So you need to become it first. Think it, become it, live it, and your mindset or your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, and your reality will catch up. So when you are abundant, what does it look like? Because you want to become that abundant person. So you need to determine what abundance looks like for you and start walking like that person, start talking like that person. And these are a few things that you can do, right? Practicing gratitude. I know we hear this all the time, but when you're practicing gratitude, you're basically saying to the universe, to God, whatever it is that you believe in, that I see what I have now, and because I'm a good steward of it, I'm open to more, right? And language is absolutely everything. I always tell people, I'm not broke, right? Even in a joke. Don't say, yeah, imagine you broke. I can't imagine it because I'm not it, right? So your language is incredibly important because as much as other people are hearing what you're saying, your mind is also hearing it, right? And the more you say something, the more it's engraved in your brain. And that's where neuroplasticity comes in, that you can create new neural pathways literally by developing habits, which is also changing the language that you use to talk about yourself. The third thing is celebrating others. When you celebrate others, when you're not jealous or envious, you're basically, again, putting out frequencies of, if success is possible for them, success is possible for me. This one I know is really, really hard for a lot of people. Giving. Give your time, give your energy, give your knowledge, give your money to people that have less or people that want to learn from you. Because when you do that, again, you're putting out frequencies of, what I have now doesn't matter. What I know is there's always enough. So I can actually share with others, right? And also give yourself a lot of grace to know that your mindset is not going to change today. You might feel like you are relapsing or whatnot, and that's okay. And more than anything, surround yourself with winners.
Yeah, that's lovely to hear that. When we live in a world without much, the fears are always there. And, that scarcity mentality is not something that's divorced from the reality of that we live in challenging times and challenging environments. And I want us to move into that sphere because people who live in that environment think that, you know what, I deserve this kind of thinking because this is where I'm at. This is my reality. I don't think so because, I remember just growing up, I still do that. I tell myself the environment, the circumstances do not define me. And I know that there are places maybe in the Bible that are important for me to affirm myself. My prayers affirm who I am in my God and my belief system, right? And at times we run away from the fact that, there is a different definition of who we are instead of our circumstances. How important is that? I know it's difficult most of the time because we are just trained from birth that you are what is around you. You are where you work. You are defined by how much is in your bank account. But, I think it's just a training that we need to unlearn in many of our lives.
It's important to know, right, that the thoughts that you think aren't necessarily true. And the thoughts that are in your mind or head are also not necessarily your voice, right? Your mindset and the way you perceive life or reality or your environment is made up of things that you've heard growing up and things that you've been exposed to. So it's very, very important to be able to differentiate that from who you are, to go, you know what? When did I learn that I am poor? When did I learn that I am who I am? Where did I hear that? And what supports, that mindset? Because the one thing that I absolutely love is saying to people, look for evidence because your brain believes evidence. So change your perspective and find evidence in your environment. And we are so fortunate that we are a digital generation. We have exposure to really amazing people. People that have started from rock bottom and now they're living their dream lives, motivational speakers, and right. So find someone find people that are where you are now that have become who you want to be. Right, your circumstances are obviously different, and you want your version of being to become something similar. That's why people have mentors and. So it's important to understand that when you change your perspective and when you look for evidence that this is possible for someone that has started where you are, you find evidence. And the more evidence, there's something called I actually forgot what it's called, but it's basically your mind believing things that you believe. For instance, if you think of a red car, you see a red car everywhere, right? If you think of a number, you start seeing it everywhere. Or if you see someone, you now start realizing that they've always been there.
Yeah.
So it's important to look for evidence. So if you live in a shack but you have social media, look for someone that lived in a shack and now they live in a 3-bedroom apartment. Because if they could do it, you can do it. And when you tell your brain there is evidence, it is possible, your brain starts believing it.
I love that. And what are the everyday things that we can do to train our mind to start thinking abundantly and from a place of gratitude, like you said?
So what I absolutely love saying to myself and other people, you're already where you don't want to be. So you have nothing to lose. All right. So be action oriented. Stop waiting for opportunities, start creating them. If you want to become, say, a coach, start coaching people that, want to do what you do. Or if you are a singer, you want to be like a global singer, start singing in your church, start putting yourself out there, right? And again, you can't think abantu bazothini. When you don't have anything, there's nothing for them to say because you don't have anything. So put yourself out there. If they don't pay for anything in your life, they don't matter. But if you stay where you are and you don't do anything with what you have, nothing is going to change. So the opposite of that is true. Start where you are with what you have and put yourself out there and do it over and over and over again. And remember, your thoughts become habits. And your thoughts become actions, and your actions become habits. So start countering the negative thoughts that your brain tells you. If your brain says, "Oh, I'm so poor," say, So listen to your thoughts. Say, I am rich. Like I said, your reality will catch up. So start telling your mind what you want it to believe. I'll never find love. Oh no, there's a lot of love to go around, honey. And as soon as you start doing that, your brain starts believing it, actions start aligning, and then those become habits. And you'll see your reality change. And I'm saying this from a point of I'm living it, right? So I'm not saying it from a privileged point of view. I've been diagnosed with multiple mental health disorders that have completely changed my perspective. But I started working on myself, and now I'm in remission. I am, a multi-award, what,
Yes.
and I've won very big awards.
I love that.
And I'm living like a very comfortable life, but I did not always have this. So, yeah.
Well, Kaukela, thank you so much, not just for that, but for the evidence through yourself as well, that getting rid of that scarcity mindset is possible and abundance is certainly ahead. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Remind us quickly where we can find you, Kaukela.
You can find me at Hosi Life Coaching, KGOSI, Life Coaching on all social media platforms. And you can check out my website, www.hosilifecoaching.co.za. My email is Coach Khao at hosilifecoaching.co.za.
Thank you so much. That is multi-award winning high performance coach Kaukelo Putwane, helping us navigate that scarcity mindset. It's 10:30 Central Africa time. Let's get our latest sports news.